Hey everyone, this is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and the next review I'm doing is my favorite Marvel Legends Thor figure. This is the Giant Man series. It's very similar to the Series 3 Thor, but much improved, I think. It's basically the same outfit, but it looks a lot better. Let's go ahead and get into it. He stands at almost 7 inches, just shy of 7 inches tall, so great size for Thor. The sculpt is really nice overall. The cape is sculpted really well. If you've seen some of my other videos about figures with capes, I hate when capes are not symmetrical, and this one isn't even close. So it's not only really heavy, but it's also off to one side. So it's pretty difficult to pose him in much of a dynamic pose. He kind of has to just stand still. And the cape's connected pretty weirdly too, so you couldn't really swap it out too easily with another cape. But I guess you could if you really wanted to. The sculpt on the face is really nice. It is molded plastic, so it's a little bit glossy instead of being painted, which is, in my opinion, better for faces to have the face painted. But it's not bad. It looks good. The hair is sculpted out of soft plastic, so it's not too hindering. The little feather things, the wings, are soft plastic, so if you put them in storage, it'll probably get bent, but just dunk them in some hot water and they'll go right back, so no big deal there. The helmet is nice and shiny, and it's got a nice wash on it, so it looks nice. The hair is shaded well, so the paint app's really good. I wish the face wasn't glossy. Sorry about that. I wish the face wasn't glossy, and because everything else that's painted looks really good. And the arms are molded. I'm not 100% sure. I think they're painted on top of the molded plastic. If you look, the disc in the shoulder is molded in the color. And unless they just used a different color plastic for the arms, they're painted. I think it's just molded though. And if that's the case, then I don't know why they didn't mold the face out of the same plastic as the arms, because it's much more flat, not glossy at all. But that's not a big issue, just something to point out. The head is on just a regular swivel type of joint. There's no up and down motion really. It's just a tiny ball in there, and due to the hair, you can't really move it that much, even though it is soft. Okay, shoulders. Regular ball joint shoulders, bicep swivel at the ball joint, single jointed elbow. Not the best looking joint. It's kind of clunky looking, but it's not bad. The wrists have a pivot or a swivel built in to the wristband, so it looks really nice. You can't tell it's there until you use it. They have a hinge right there. He's got one clenching fist. And another thing I want to point out, the hands are painted, so they're glossy. Like, they're painted with a glossy, I don't know. They're really inconsistent with the skin color, but it's not that big of a deal. It's just something to point out. And then this hand actually has a hinge in the knuckles. The other hand doesn't have that. It's got the same articulation everywhere else, but he's got an extra hinge for open or closed, which is really nice. He's got the ab crunch there and a waist twist. I want to point out that the torso is hard plastic inside, but the front piece and the shoulder pieces are soft plastic. I'm not really sure why, but it is like that. And the discs are sculpted on. And one thing that makes this better than the new Thor, in my opinion, is even these bottom discs are sculpted. They're just painted on the new, like the exclusive one and the one that's coming out in April. So I like that these are all sculpted. And they don't really get in the way too much. I mean, you can't get it any closer, any more hunkered over anyway, so I like that they're sculpted. The belt is sculpted with the little T logo on there. Nice texture throughout the torso and the hips. Then the legs are a nice bright blue with the regular ball joint, forward, backward, side to side, no twisting, no hassle, just pose it however you want, no big deal. Thigh swivel at the top of the thigh, double jointed knees. A better design than the new Thor, I think, because the new Thor has a really skinny piece of plastic that the top of the boot is connected to. And although this doesn't line up just right for the boot, it's a better design, I think. But so double jointed knees. Is there a swivel in there? There's not. The swivel is down here, I'm sorry. Too many Thor figures going through my head. There's a shin swivel right there, ankle pivot like normal, toe pivot like normal, and an ankle rocker. So tons of articulation there. Sculpt is great with these bands or wraps, whatever you want to call them. The paint's not the best. It would have been nice if this part was painted black too, so that when you had the leg bent, the boot still looked like it was there. So you can really only use the top joint of the knee joint if you want it to look great while it's bent. but that's not a big deal in my opinion either. Last thing I want to talk about is the hammer. If I can get it out of his hand. Alright, it's sculpted really well. Get a little closer there. Or a lot closer. Sculpted really well. There's texture throughout the whole thing. There's nice paint app on there. You can get it inside there for the lettering. The handle's sculpted really well also. There's brown plus a black wash. It's softer at the bottom, just a little bit, not a lot, but it won't break. You don't have to worry about that. So it's a really nice, one of the better Thor hammers, I think. And I really like that one. It's got a good size to it also. He can hold it really well, especially with this closed hand that's always closed. Put it in like that, and you're good to go. I guess I should mention there's no shading on the black parts of the torso, and there's no shading on the cape. So, not a big deal, but it is something to mention. So as I said, this is my favorite version of Thor. Despite its few problems, it's still the best looking version, I think. I guess there's some the Marvel Select one and the new Thor are bigger, and they're based on the modern Thor design. So some people like that better. I like the classic Thor personally, and this is the best version of that. There's no flight stand hole, so if you want him to fly, you have to hang him from the ceiling or give him one of the other types of stands. Other than that, he's good to go. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Keep an eye out for more videos in the future, and in the meantime, keep collecting.